We're back for another recap. Today is Wednesday, December 11, 2024. The time is currently 8:22 a.m. So in the overnight session, they really haven't been able to get price to rebound all that much. This level you see at 603.90 in the light blue line is probably a place that the bulls would like to get closes above. They're under that so far, but there's a CPI data release this morning at 8:30, just a few minutes from now, and there's PPI news tomorrow morning, and that's likely to set the stage for where they want price to get leading up to the FOMC announcement on Wednesday next week. So in a few minutes, this CPI news is going to drop, and that's probably going to affect price. And so if they get above 603.90, then the bulls are probably going to be in charge. If the market isn't acting too out of character, these levels should provide some support and resistance, depending on how price comes into the levels during the open session. We'll say that if price falls down toward the lower of the two levels at 623 to 599.05, that whole area could be a big zone of support between those two levels, maybe even a little lower than that. Since we have an hour or so until the opening bell, the SPY seems to be trying to climb at this point. No guarantees it's going to continue. I feel like there is room for them to run on either side today, like up or down. So I'm not really picking a side as a favorite today. I think a lot hinges on the CPI data release in a few minutes. Whatever happens, we'll come back to this chart and talk about any trades that may have been triggered based on our rules in the E-minis from these levels in the SPY. Catch you on the other side. Coming back at you the next morning, it's noticed at 7:39 a.m. So they went off the charts, and I believe that CPI data release was the catalyst to get them above this 603.90 level. Let's just talk about what you would have done if you were playing by the rules, and I'll tell you what I did. Pretty busy day yesterday. That's why I didn't get the video last night. Still not feeling 100%, but I tried to get some stuff done, and it was just kind of hectic. So anyway, they opened above this level, not to mention the 603.90. I'll show you the pre-market in a minute just to show you what they did right after I finished the morning video yesterday, and the data release was right after that. They popped up as I was writing the email to the pre-subscribers with the levels, and that kind of set the stage. And then today, by the way, I mentioned for the video for Thursday, the 12th, which is today, that there's a PPI data release. And anyway, it'll probably affect market as well. So playing by the rules at 9:45, after letting 15 minutes go by, they were between these two levels here, but they went up to 606.48 first. You would trigger the trade at 606.43, and I'll put your reference levels just to show you what you're looking for. You're looking for a bounce down here. That's the equivalent of 4 points in the E-minis right here, the green line. And if price gets above the red line, which is what I call the fumble threshold, and certain things happen, then this trade is wrong and something else needs to happen. Well, first of all, they didn't bounce it. This level was important, and later in the day, they came all the way back down to it in the overnight trading session. So the point is, when they got to the level, there was no reaction, hardly at all, to pull a base hit. They got above the level, and so it happened to be 5.5 points when the fumble signal materialized, and you would have reversed this trade and continued higher for at least a base hit. So lost 5.5, gained 4, and that was pretty much it. Yes, there were levels up here that could have been calculated in real time. I wasn't messing around with this at all. In fact, my trade, which don't have a recording to show you because it was pretty much a mess. First mistake I made was going short 4 contracts here. I really expected them to come down, some type of retracement, and realized my mistake when I was out of the money. So, that adds up. 4 contracts. It was more like 7.5 points that when I reversed, I held out a little longer, still rode this up for a few more points to wash that out, but a little bit of a loss for me. But playing by the rules, you would have ended underwater as well. And I guess I could say that in some ways, the market seems to be acting a little out of character considering where they're at, pretty far extended. And yet there's been some pullbacks. This turns out to be a smaller pullback and a bounce higher as we're witnessing right now. Are they going to break out into new highs? That's kind of the question we'll have for today. But before I do that, let's turn on the after hour session, the 24-hour session. Let's just zoom out a little bit just to show you that in the morning, this was the pre-market before the market opened, or this is the pre-market activity before that 8:30. Here we go. CPI data release pushed it above this level they couldn't get above in the overnight session. That set the stage, and you can see what happened. But then at the end of the day, they came all the way back down and hit this level. So this level is important, but just not. But the price just did not react at it the way we like to see it. Not enough reaction there, which is a pretty good indication. You can see now that meant the bulls were definitely in charge. They had been in charge for a while after the 8:30 data release. So here's a daily chart. This is what they look like after they closed yesterday. This is the Wednesday candle. just to see if we see any signals. Turns out this was a pullback. They gapped up, obviously, pretty strong in the morning. Will they continue today with that PPI data release at 8:30, which is over an hour from now? Or was this just a big kind of fake out? Let's see, let me move a little clock out of the way here. Let's turn on the after hours, extended trading hours. For what are we on here? A 30-minute chart. Yeah, they're coming back down again. But I need to do some work to figure out what the numbers are for today anyway. Nothing really to tell if I go back to the daily chart just one more time. Weekly chart. Yeah, there's more pullbacks are going to come sooner than later probably. Anyway, not really telling you a whole lot here because I don't know yet either. I've got to do some work. We'll take a quick look at the logs. This is the PBR, playing by the rules log. You can see the 5.5 points given back, 4 points on the reversal, all at that level there, and where that landed for profit potentials, or in this case, loss potentials. And then my trade was a 7.5 point fumble at the same level, and I got 4 points as a reverse. So it was more like $700 and some change that I gave back to the market yesterday, I should say. So anyway, I need to get going on the numbers for Thursday, for December 12. So that's it for today's recap. Thanks for watching. Appreciate the support. Talk to you in the next recap video tonight, most likely. Have a great rest of your day.